And today we are talking about tax day. 7 on your sides. Michael Finney is here with me. And on a normal year, Michael, we'd be exactly 1 week away from the deadline, right?
Right.
But for most of the people here in California, taxes aren't due for another 6 months, but we're still going to talk about it because there's so much to know.
There is. And there's a lot of good reasons to file now.
Okay, well, let's talk about that because right now we want to talk about the extension and what you need to know. Larry Pon of Pon and Associates joins us now. Thank you so much for being here. We have a lot of questions for you, Larry.
Hello, Karina and Mike.
All right, so first, let's talk about that extension because, you know, so many people have questions about it. Larry, can you tell us who is impacted and what that extension just means overall?
Right, so normally taxes are due April 15th, and that's been the rule for decades. Well, April 15th is a Saturday. So then we go to the closest Monday, which is April 17th. But April 17th is Emancipation Day, which is a holiday in Washington, D.C. So the IRS is closed that day. So for most of America, taxes are due on April 18th. However, we've been pummeled here in California with the winter storms. And we've been declared a disaster here in California as a result of the winter storms, which gives us tax relief. And the relief is now to October 16th of 2023 for all of California, except for 3 counties. So all of California, except for Lassen, Modoc, and Shasta counties. Otherwise, the rest of California gets this October 16th, 2023 extension.
Now, the rules, as I understand them, Larry, are it's if you live in any of the other counties except for those 3, or if your tax preparer lives in any of the counties other than those 3. Is that correct?
That's correct. You don't have to be affected by the storms. You don't have to have any flood damage, mudslides, or a tree falling on your house. You just have to reside in the affected counties. And that also applies to your tax professional, your bookkeeper, or whoever keeps your accounting records. So you might have a tax preparer located here in San Francisco, but the client may be in Nevada for federal purposes. That person also gets an extension to October 16th.
But Larry, you know, and I think you've covered this too, Michael, as you've been, covering all the issues that come with taxes. You've heard some people run into some hiccups because of this extension. Can you explain how that works with the IRS and what they can do if they run into any problems?
Yeah.
Right. So many people have filed their tax returns already, and they might have a balance due. It's okay to file your tax returns now, but you can wait till October 16th to make the payment. However, the IRS computers are not the best programmed in the world. So the IRS might send you a letter saying, oh, you filed your tax return, you still owe us money. Well, you just respond to that letter pointing out that you gave us this extension on October 16th and I'll pay you then.
Now, there are some tax breaks that come with this, right? Because of the extension, not only can you wait to pay the taxes if you owe them, but they affect next year's taxes too. Do I have that right?
Exactly. So this also applies for your 2023 estimated payments. So normally the payments would be April 18th, June 15th, and September 15th. So those 3 payments could be combined and paid by October 16th, and they'll still be considered timely.
Go.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask also, because of this extension, I believe you can also have more time to put in money in some of those funds. How does that work, and which ones can you still put money in, and for how long?
Right. So this extension also allows you more time to put money into your IRA account, your individual retirement account. Doesn't matter if it's a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, you got till October 16th to fund your IRA accounts. In addition, if you are in an HSA, a health savings account, if you have one of those and you haven't topped it off yet, you have till October 16th to top off your HSA contribution and to get the deduction on your 2022 tax return so you can lower your 2022 taxes.
Even if you don't put the money in until October 2023, right?
That's correct. Right.
Who should file sooner rather than later? Who should wait until that October 16th date?
You do a refund, you might as well get them filed now because we don't know how long it's going to take to get it processed. There could be processing delays. So why wait till October if you're due a refund? Otherwise, you're giving the government an interest-free loan.
Now, we know some people are on top of it. They've already filed. Some people do it, as soon as February. If you've already filed, what do you need to know, Larry?
If you're refiled, if you're due a refund, you can go to the IRS website and click on the tab, Where's My Refund, to check the status of your refund if you haven't gotten it yet. California, on the California Franchise Tax Board website, there's a link there to check to see if your refund is being processed. So that's very important.
Let's talk about the middle class tax refund here in California. How does that work? Do people need to refile now because of all of these extensions? What's up?
Right. That caused a great deal of confusion earlier this year because the middle class tax refund was paid out to people who filed their 2020 tax return by October 15th of 2021. And depending on your adjusted gross income, you got a middle class tax refund up to a maximum of $1,050. Now, California told us when the law was passed, it's not taxable for California purposes. However, there was no guidance on whether it's taxable on the federal return or not.
Ooh.
And then at the beginning of the year, the IRS told us, sent a press release telling the country to hold off on your filing your tax returns because 21 states also gave refunds as a stimulus last year. And there's a question whether it was taxable or not. There was some debate among the tax community whether it was taxable or not. So on February 10th, the IRS gave us guidance saying that if you receive these payments from your state, they're not taxable.
Okay, good to know. And before you go, Larry, we want to talk about scams. I know, Michael, you've covered a lot of the scams when it comes to the IRS that are out there. Is there anything new when it comes to scammers this year and trying to get after people's money during tax season?
Well, you've been seeing the stories about the mail thefts where postal carriers are getting bugged and the thieves kind of know when refund checks are in those trucks. So the biggest recommendation is you're due a refund, get it direct deposit to your checking account. That's the safest, quickest way to get your refund. Because if you lose your refund because someone stole your check, it's really difficult to get them to reissue a check, and it's going to take a while.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before, the communication with the IRS too. They only do it over mail. So you're not going to get an email, you're not going to get a text, you're not going to get a phone call, right?
Right. The IRS only communicates you initially through the U.S. mail. So no, you're not going to call, you're not going to get text, you're not going to get a Facebook Messenger or anything like that. It'll be a letter. And you also will not get a knock on the door either. So all the contacts will initially come through the mail.
And let's be clear, because this is such a common scam, nobody at the IRS is ever going to ask you for a gift card. They expect cash, a check. They're not going to take a Target gift card from you, and yet that's what scammers ask for all the time.
Exactly. And the most secure way of paying the IRS is through the IRS website. It's irs.gov/direct pay. It's free, it's easy to use, and the payment comes out of your checking account and you can schedule the payment. So for example, if you owe money on your tax return, you can schedule it to have the money taken out of your checking account on October 16th. So you don't have to forget about mailing the check or putting in the mail, because we've seen people, they mailed their checks, they swore they mailed the checks, but it got lost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
Okay, a very great conversation, Larry. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.